Hey there, it's Lokazi. Thanks for joining me for Game 2 of Complexity Trimaster versus RGN Spades at MLG Anaheim 2011. This is MLG Dream Altar, of course. If you have played on the ladder, it's a very similar map. There are practically no changes between it. There is... I think there's like an extra few mineral patches. No, there's not even a mineral patch change at the third. Not even sure what the changes between the ladder and the non-ladder versions are. Trimaster spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner as the blue Terran. He was the red Terran last game, so that might be a little bit confusing. No, he's the blue Terran. He's blue Terran last game. Their positions up here on the top actually swapped, which is weird. You'd think one color would be on the same side every time, but, you know, who knows. RGN Spades spawning in the top right-hand position here as the red Terran. Now, last time we saw Spades go for a very heavy mech build. Literally, he had like 10 Marines. And that was pretty much it. And then near the end of the game he dropped down a bunch of racks because he was floating so many minerals that he wanted to pump out some more Marines, but they actually got taken out by Trimasters. Very scrappy and very well known for drop play. And we have a little bit of a wall off here going on for Spades, which is really good, especially on, I think, Tal'Darim. One of the strategies used by a lot of Terran players, including myself who plays random, is Hellion run-bys on this map, because it's very hard to wall off this front, and almost everyone goes for a very fast expansion. Like 1 rack's fast expand is extremely common in almost every matchup here for Terran. So you can pretty much assume that they're going to 1 rack's fast expand, though I mean obviously you're going to scout. So placing this here lets you prevent Hellion run-bys as much as possible, as well as Hellions just having more area to get out of. If you block it off with supply depots, if they Hellion drop in your main and then you don't manage to catch it in time, or you very barely fend it off, they can't run out to your natural and start on that line without having to reload into the dropship. To the medvacs, excuse me. And Trimaster going with his tried and true 1 racks expand probably with a tech lab. He's going to go for a Reaper here off the bat, I'm fairly certain. There it is. Reaper popping out here. Spades scouting his position right as Trimaster actually scouts Spades' position. And Spades did pick off the scouting SCV, so good exchange for him there. And it looks like his scouting SCV is actually maybe going to get out. No harassment done on that SCV. Kind of interesting. I think I would have gone for the harassment there, as Reapers take forever and a day to build compared to other barracks units. And we have Spades on 1 gas, has his tech lab down. He is also getting a Reaper to try and defend against this Reaper that is very likely incoming, as well as just it's such a large map that map control is very important in Terran vs. Terran. Or at least sight control, so you can see when it's coming across, get your siege tanks in the right position, see what angle they're coming from, all those types of things. And Trimaster is actually moving directly to the watchtower that Spades has parked an SCV at, so he picks off that scouting SCV. It's now evened up directly at 1 kill of an SCV each. And Trimaster going for another barracks and starting up his stim, while RGN Spades is actually going for his expansion being built inside his base. And no other tech to be seen so far, floating a little bit of minerals here. He's pumping out a few Marines and setting them out in patrol paths, getting ready for the Reaper that is likely coming into the base. And it actually perfectly is placed and takes out the Reaper as it leaps up, so very well done there by Spades. He's dropping his factory now, and Trimaster looks like again he's going to go for this 3 racks build after he expands. This is what he did last game as well. Looks like this is his standard Terran v Terran play. Which is good to know, when you're watching pros like this, you're like, I wonder what type of build order they go for in Terran vs. Terran. Because you know that they have a very set build order based on they're most likely to win. Trimaster microing a little bit there, and then losing his Reaper shortly thereafterwards for another Reaper death here at the hands of the very vigilant Marines of Spades. Now Trimaster dropping an engineering bay here at the front, kind of interesting, because he generally goes for the upgrades very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually gets focused down by siege tanks during the time of a push or something like that. Blue Flame Hellion actually is being researched right now. The reactor going down on this barracks, which has backed up and gave that tech lab over to the factory. So we have a 1-1-1 expansion here out of Spades. Meantime, Trimaster did go for this 3 racks expansion. He is now picking up his factory. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes for more siege tanks or again goes for the extremely scrappy drop style play, which I think is better suited for Tal'Darim because it's such a large map that a mech force has a really hard time getting back to defend or pushing forward, and he's going to have to leave, Spades is going to have to leave quite a bit of units back at his base to defend against a large infantry plays by Trimaster, elevating into the base, things like that, which is what I would probably be going for, seeing as Trimaster did see the style of Spades last time being an extremely heavy mech. Pretty safe way to play it for him. And Spades going for 2 factory. This is a relatively common build actually on Tal'Darim. Get some pressure in, some drop pressure in with some Marines and Blue Flame Hellions, and then transition into Siege Tank Blue Flame Hellion, which is what he did on the last map. So it'll be very interesting to see if he's going to continue that pattern. It seemed to work out pretty well for him, so can't imagine that he would want to deviate from that, though this map in particular I don't think lends itself to mech play that well. And we have the, once again, scouting barracks floating around the map. Spade says, I don't need any barracks. They're worthless. I'm just going to build massive amounts of factories and float my barracks around the map for scouting. And Trimaster is actually picking up his 3rd here. In just a moment. He's clearing out the rocks for that. His +1 is almost finished. Like I said, goes for those very fast upgrades on his units. And it looks like there's going to be a drop from the back with 3 Blue Flame Hellions. Meanwhile, 3 Blue Flame Hellions are going to try and move up in the front. So multi-prong harassment here out of Spades against Trimaster, and I think, wow, extremely fast reaction time there. Wow, SCV is being loaded up into the medvacs. Actually, I don't think he lost practically any, maybe like 1, I think. Maybe died there. The rest of them getting healed up here. Blue Flames rolling up in the front though. 1 big shot. Okay spread there by Trimaster. Kind of a big clump. And Spades really not picking off that many. He's got 3, 2, 1. So we got 6 units there with these 3 Blue Flame Hellions, which actually, well, there's a last one right there. 6 would actually equate to the cost of 3 Blue Flame Hellions. So even exchange, though mining time was lost. Looks like Spades did not rally there for a bit on his expansion. 3rd being built. He's going to clear out the destructible rocks up here for Spades. Trimaster in the meantime has not started his 3rd. I don't think. I don't see it. Yeah, 3rd has not been started. It wasn't on the production tab. I was just checking around to see if it was shown in the base somewhere, not being converted to an orbital. There it is, command center going down. Trimaster in the meantime moving across with 1-1 concussive, no, not concussive, stim and shielded Marines. There we go. Vikings moving out on the field here. Gonna try and deal some damage, and actually losing 1 Viking unnecessarily for 2 pot shots on a medvac. So good exchange there for Trimaster. And there's some SCVs just, oh, they were rallied out to the front to then repair the Vikings. And Trimaster clearing out these watchtowers, getting sight over the entirety of the map, which is what he wants because then he can do drop play a lot easier here. And this barracks, the reason why it's positioned here is it's the most likely drop path. So Spades will be able to see that coming, but it looks like Trimaster is actually going to move up, see if the 3rd has been finished up, and if it hasn't, take that short hop across to the actual main base. And he has only 2 Marauders here, so it's going to be pretty rough against all these Blue Flame Hellions. And by all these Blue Flame Hellions, there's literally 15 Blue Flame Hellions. That is an obscene amount of Blue Flame Hellions. They're going to roast those Marines so fast. But actually, dealing an okay exchange. Marines are very powerful. And that Marauder held on for as long as he could, but just didn't work out. And Marines and Marauders being dropped into the natural here, but very fast response with these Hellions, and they roast up, looks like 2, 3 Marines? Maybe 2 Marines. I don't know if that's like Marine's head over there, or an entirely separate Marine. In the meantime, these medvacs getting picked at by the Vikings. Siege tanks have started to be produced here for Spades. He did pick up siege mode, and he is picking up his 3rd, or 4th and 5th actually factories are now getting their add-ons thrown onto them. He is getting an engineering bay, and he is not going for upgrades again. These Blue Flame Hellions are exerting some pretty serious map control. In the meantime, these Marauders are living forever versus the flames of the Blue Flame Hellions. And these medvacs are trying to run from these Vikings, but that's not going to work out. They should have just stayed and healed that Marauder, there we go, longer against those blue flames. And the expansion still has not lost its destructible rock because within Hellions deal no damage to rocks. They deal 5 damage, I think. And he is now going to land that and pick up his expansion. In the meantime, Trimaster is ahead on the expansion game. Here, he has his third. It is converted to an orbital. It is mining. Now, with this many blue flame Hellions, you should really be running around the map, harassing, making sure that the third doesn't really get that great of saturation. In reality, Spades hasn't even scouted the third of Trimaster at all, so he has no idea that it is up and running, though he can assume that it is, because his is now up and running. Trimaster trying to elevate her a little bit there. Quite a few Vikings moving out. They are going to pick off the remaining medvacs and then back up. And those blue flame Hellions actually getting really great shots there on the upper ground by Spades. And now there is sight advantage for Spades, and he is held at his expansion with 5 siege tanks. Meantime, Trimaster has 2 Vikings out on the field, and they are going to miss this drop play just barely out of Spades, so Blue Flame Hellions about to be dropped in the main base here. Is this going to see it? No, it doesn't see it either. These Marines are going to see it though. Come on, Marines. There they go. Stim, immediate reaction at Trimaster. Very nicely done there. Units moving into position to drive off that drop. Very well played there by Trimaster. Trimaster has 5 siege tanks, decided to go with a few more here this game. In the meantime, Spades has a massive amount of siege tanks once again, and just pumping out 3 at a time, as well as 3 Blue Flame Hellions at a time. Keeping his minerals pretty low. His gas, however, is floating a little bit high. Though more siege tanks, I'm sure, soon will even that out. Massive amount of Marauders here in the middle of the map for Trimaster. Really great units versus this mech play. As they will not get roasted easily. And siege tanks sieging up there for Spades. And actually a move command out of the Vikings there by Spades. A big mistake by him. Trimaster is going to gain air superiority here, which is going to allow him to siege easier. And Trimaster moves forward to cut reinforcements off, forcing a siege way back here, which is really good for him. There's now this isolated giant group of tanks in the middle of the map doing nothing, essentially. They're going to have to unsiege, and when they do, Trimaster knows when they'll be moving, where they're moving, etc., and he'll be able to swing down on them if he so chooses. Meantime, Trimaster is moving to try and choke out the front of the base here with siege tanks, and he does get a very good position there. Oop, 1 siege tank does go down. More Vikings meeting up with their fellows here in front of Spades' base. Trimaster much more even in this game than he was in the previous game. Spades did sneak out a 4th expansion, or a 4th base, 3rd expansion here on this map. It is now converting to an orbital, so he's going to be ahead economically here pretty soon. In the meantime, many Blue Flame Hellions rolling up, along with just a ridiculous arch of siege tanks. Look at all those siege tanks. It's crazy. Where are the Banshees? The Banshees there. So Spades does clean up that front fairly aggressive positioning of Trimaster there. Trimaster, meanwhile, has pumped out quite a few siege tanks, and has a lot of Marauders and Medvacs to actually try and clear out some of this. These Marauders chilling on the hill, trying to get some damage done on the siege tanks. They do get eaten up pretty quickly by the siege tanks as they fire extremely fast and deal a high amount of damage versus armored units. And the siege tank patrol is moving back. Trimaster, in the meantime, did drop to take out a supply depot of Spades, so he's almost capped. It did. They're not even stim. I think Trimaster just kind of rallied, dropped those up there, and kind of forgot about that this is moving around the map. Siege tanks are now in position to siege up these Marauders, who are aimlessly wandering forward. They do get picked up and pulled back there. In the meantime, the siege tank, the Cuddle Hug, is moving across the middle of the map with its ridiculous number of, how many is that? 19 siege tanks right there? Banshees are being produced by Trimaster, which is good, because Banshees are awesome. And there's a large drop going down at this extremely oversaturated expansion of Spades with 60 SCVs on it. I'd love to see like 2 Blue Flame Hellions kill 60 SCVs in the last. I think he's going to have to settle with the Marines. Are they going to stem? No stem? And that giant SCV line actually. Large tank fight down here at the bottom. Air superiority is on Spades right now, though there are scans out on both sides, so that kind of negates that. And that kind of settles down a little bit. The Blue Flame Hellions ripped apart the mineral line at third here, and are now very slowly dealing absolutely no damage to anything with Trimasters. Alright. One volley gets one of the bubbles off of that. Trimaster in the meantime going for this massive and great counter push with the drops. Took out that fourth, now he's taking out the third, and the giant flock of SCVs is retreating, and a GG is called there by Spades. So this multi-prong harassment out of Trimaster, well actually single-prong harassment, though at a very good time when all these siege tanks were across the map, won him the game. And again, that's the disadvantage of mech play on these giant maps like this. There's absolutely no way you're going to be able to get back in time to respond to drops. The only way you're going to be able to fend them off is with units that were left there, like those siege tanks that were just produced and the Blue Flame Hellions up here on this drop, because they were just produced and then he just changed their rally up there, or pulled them from wherever they were rallied to. You know, he was able to defend it, but other than that, it's just way too hard to defend this extremely mobile play and drop play out of players like Trimaster. You know, these Grandmaster Terran players are ridiculously good at drop play, and 2-2 was going down, and actually Viking upgrades were going out too. In the meantime, Spades did not actually have any upgrades. So this was game 2. Spades did win game 1, so is now tied 1-1. They're going into the third and final game here in the open bracket winners, round 4. Whoever wins this will go on to round 5 and face, I don't remember, I think maybe FXO or something like that. And whoever loses will be knocked down into the losers bracket, I think, or you might actually get knocked down in the losers bracket in round 5. We'll have to see. Anyway, this was Lokazi casting for you. You can check me out at youtube.com/Lokazi, that's Lokazi, or twitchtv.lokazi. You know, any of those types of websites, you can assume I'm there. You can Google me, find me anywhere. Thanks for tuning in for another cast of MLG Anaheim 2011, and I'll see you guys in the exciting conclusion, Game 3, here between RGN Spades and Complexity's Trimaster. Catch you then.